Okay, hope you are able to see my screen. Okay, good morning, guys. So, before starting the session, I'll just give you some heads up on that. So, it will be okay. Before going into that, so I'll just give my short introduction, so you will be able to understand like who is taking the classes, and also you will be able to know about me. So, my name is Amit. So, right now, I'm in Europe. So I came here with an on-site openings. In last 3 years, I'm here in Europe. Okay, I have approximately 14 years of IT experience. Okay, in between last 5 years, I'm working in Snowflake. Total 14 years IT experience I have. Here I worked in like Oracle, SQL Server, SQL, PL SQL. So these are all the technologies, Apex. Okay, so these are all the technologies I worked in the last 5 years. I'm working in Snowflake. Okay, I'm working in Snowflake. I have completed my two layer of certification on the Snowflake. So first one I completed like Snowflake Core. Then I completed Snow Pro Advanced Architect. Okay, so you guys can go through my LinkedIn profile. There I have provided all my details. You can verify all those details, my past companies, my present companies, my locations. Everything is provided over there. You guys can go through. I'll you just ping me in WhatsApp. I'll share my LinkedIn profile, or otherwise you can go to the LinkedIn and you can check. So this is my profile. So I'm taking Snowflake batches for last 3 years, from 2021. It's almost 3 years. I'm taking my batches. This is gonna be my 67th batch. This is gonna be my 67th batch. Okay, so one batch is running from 7:30 in the morning. Another batch now from 8:30 it will be starting. So this is gonna be my 67th batch of Snowflake. So I'm taking this training from the last 3 years. Okay, so I takes basically your corporate level training, so as well for the different organizations. So that is my profile. And what will be today's agenda? Today's agenda will be basically the very basic part of Snowflake. Now I am assuming that you guys don't know anything about Snowflake. So maybe some of from you guys is know about Snowflake. They already work in a Snowflake, probably possible. But I'm assuming that you guys don't know anything about Snowflake. So I'll start from the base level. I'll start from the scratch level. After today's session, you will be having a fair understanding about Snowflake. Okay, what is Snowflake, how it works. Okay, why it is using, what are all the important features are there. So this summary related information, like all the theoretical informations, we will be having with you. Okay, so that is what the agenda of today's sessions, and we'll discuss about the architecture of the Snowflake as well, and I'll tell you how to open a free trial account with Snowflake and start your working. So that also I'll be discuss. Okay. So without wasting the time, let's start. So first question is, what is Snowflake? What is Snowflake? Okay. So Snowflake is a data warehouse. Snowflake is the data warehouse. The what is data warehouse? Data warehouse is the place. I'll just take the session from the very base level, very scratch level. End of the session, 2 to 3 questions you will be getting, which can be, which is the basically important for the certifications as well. So I'll discuss those things also. So have patience and just go through this session. You will learn something. Okay. So what is Snowflake? So simply Snowflake is nothing but it's a cloud data warehouse. Okay, so it's a cloud data warehouse. Now what is data warehouse? Data warehouse is nothing but the place, the single unit, the location where we get all the data from the different source system. So that is what we call the data warehouse. Okay. Now in the data warehouse, what it happens, we gather all the data and further we analyze those data to get some proper report or to get some proper decision making things will be happening on the data which is stored in the data warehouse. Why it is important to gather all the data in the data warehouse? For an example, let's say I'm just giving a simple example. Let's say you want to travel from whenever you are traveling from one place to another place, what we do, we purchase the flight ticket, right? Now let's say Indigo, basically SpiceJet, all those flights are there. Now some people directly goes to their portal and they book the ticket from their system. Okay, some people book their ticket from the different service providers, like for an example Make My Trip, for an example let's say Paytm, Phone Pay, let's say skyscanner.net. So different websites are there. From there also you can book their tickets, right? Let's say I'm just giving a simple example. Let's say your SpiceJet is celebrating their 25th years of foundation, and they have decided that whoever is, I started my recording, right? Just a minute, let me check. Yeah, so whoever is basically traveled through their airline in last 3 months, but their traveling number will be more than 10 times. Let's say in last 3 months, more than 10 times or more than 5 times, whoever customer has traveled through their flight, SpiceJet people wants to give them a 20% discount coupon or something. Okay. Now, to deliver this coupon to those customers, what they need to find out those customer details who has traveled more than 5 times in the last 3 months. Okay. Now, to analyze this thing, what they need all their complete transaction details into a single place, right? That means your Make My Trip, whatever customer has booked their ticket from a Make My Trip, they needs to send their details to SpiceJet. Whoever has booked their ticket from Skyscanner, they needs to send their details to the SpiceJet, because SpiceJet wants to understand that whoever the total customers are there who has traveled through their SpiceJet airlines in last 3 months more than 5 times. So for analyzing this thing, I need all my complete data into a single place, right? And that's the reason this data warehouse concept comes. Warehouse is the concept, simple thing. Like if you talk about the warehouse, Amazon, Flipkart, they also have their warehouse. Now what their warehouse does, warehouse brings all the item into a single place, and from there they delivers the item to the respective customers. That is what the warehouse activity. Similarly, data warehouse is also like that thing only. Data warehouse, what it does, it gathers all the data into a single place, and from there they delivers the data to the customer how they wants to see the data. So I gather all the raw data into a single place. After that, I make some transformation and I prepare the data for the customers how they wants to see the data, because raw data can have a huge set of columns. All the data are there. Let's say for an example, I'm storing all the last 10 years data into the data warehouse, but customer wants to see only the last 5 years data. So I will be filtering those 5 years data from that entire data set, and I will load into some table, and that table I will show to the customer. So that is what. So data warehouse is the place where I gather all the data, where we gather all the data, and from there we deliver the data to the different team or different customer or different business peoples, right? How they wants to see the data. Okay, so that is what the data warehouse's activity. Data warehouse will be used for the analyzing your data, okay, to process your data, and it's having a huge storage, huge processing powers, and that's the reason data warehouse will be utilized for this kind of purposes. This data warehouse does not contain the basically your current data or direct data, or basically so basically if you consider this diagram, for an example, I'll tell you. If you consider this diagram, so there are two type of objects are there, basically two type of processes are there. One is basically OLTP, another one is OLAP. So whenever from the online portal, for an example, whenever from the online portal we processed any data, let's say we purchased some item, we booked a ticket, we purchased some t-shirt, shirts, or let's say you booked a flight ticket. The data directly goes to the OLTP system. OLTP system in the sense the database which is directly connected with your online portal. OLTP is nothing but online transaction processing, the database which is directly connected with your online portal. If you purchase a ticket according to your customer details, that seat number, that PNR number will be updated, and your all the details will be inserted immediately to this database. Okay, and after that, let's say you have canceled the ticket, then that row will be marked as an cancelled, or the seat will be available for the other people. The things will happen here, right? So this type of database is basically nothing but it's a kind of online. It is connected with the directly with the online portal. Okay, so that's the reason this is what we call OLTP. It is nothing but it will be containing the current data. It will containing the consistency updated data. It will be highly detailed data. Okay, then day-to-day operations, it is utilization. It utilized, and normalized data, it will be containing the normalized data. So whatever updates you do, you cancel the order, you update the date of the flying, or let's say you update the time of the or flight you change, you added some meal, each and everything directly will be going immediately to this database. Now this is what we call OLTP. Now, from different OLTP or different file system, generally we port all the data and we import into the another system, that is what we call OLAP. And this is what your data warehouse. This is online analytical processing. This is your data warehouse. You can call it basically Snowflake resides here. This is what your Snowflake. Snowflake is nothing but it's a data warehouse where we get all the data from the different. Here I'm showing only, basically the picture shows only one system, but like this multiple databases, multiple source system can send the data to the OLAP system. Here all the data will be gathered for the further analysis. This contains the historical data. Historical data means maybe last day data, maybe last week data, maybe last month data. So here we contain the historical data. This is not directly connected with your online portal. This is not directly connecting with your online portal. So whatever changes we make on the online, that will not directly affected to this. Okay, less frequency updated, summarize data, report dashboard for decision making. So with OLAP, different Power BI or with different BI component will be connected, and they will be utilizing this data to generate their report. So that's the reason it is saying we can generate the reports based on the OLAP data and all, and it contains the denormalized data. Okay, so here normalization does not work. So here denormalized data, different dimensions data we keep here. So this is the difference between OLTP and OLAP. So this is how basically we get the data from the user. We store the data to the different OLTP, and from there different we get the data to the data warehouse. And this way basically the data warehouse gets the data and process the data. So Snowflake is also a data warehouse. But the interesting thing is it's not a on-premise, it's a cloud data warehouse. Whenever we say Snowflake is a cloud data warehouse, what does it mean? It means Snowflake deploys on the cloud. That means whenever I will show you today I will show you whenever I will create an account here. Whenever we create an account with Snowflake, we deploy our account on cloud. Okay, we deploy our account on cloud. So either you can take AWS services, or you can take Azure, or you can take GCP. Any one of these three cloud you have to choose, and you have to deploy your account on that cloud. Whenever you are deploying that account on that cloud, so that means that is the reason, because it is deployed on the cloud, that's the reason it's called as a cloud data warehouse. Here you don't need to install anything, you don't need to bring any desktop, any server, nothing. You just have to open an account with Snowflake and start work on it. Okay, you don't need to worry about creating the account, you don't need to worry about bringing the software, hardware, install it, configuration, nothing is needed. what you need, you just have to open your account through your online portal and just work on it. Whenever you are opening the Snowflake account, it will be deployed on the cloud. Any one of these three you have to choose. Either you choose the AWS, or you choose the Azure, or you choose the GCP. Anyone you can choose. On that cloud, your account will be deployed. Okay. Along with this cloud data warehouse, we call it as a SaaS product. What does it mean? SaaS is nothing but software as a service. What does it mean? What does it mean by software as a service? Software as a service product means, I'll give you a simple example. Maybe everybody doesn't know about this, so I'll just give a simple example. Let's say, for an example, you want to travel from point A to point B. You want to travel from point A to point B. How you can travel? You can take two way you can travel. One, by your own car. You have your own car, you have your own bike. So simple, you have your own vehicle. By using that vehicle, you want to travel from one point A to B. Now, if you want to travel by your own car, then there is some requirement. What is the requirement? You have to purchase the car, right? For purchasing the car, what you have to do? You have to pay the entire car cost to the basically company. So that means here, first of all, here the advantage is you are owning the car, you are boss of the car, you have the ownership on the car because you are purchasing the car. And but there is some disadvantage. What is the disadvantage? First of all, huge cost involved. Okay, huge upfront cost involved. That means whatever basically car price is there, that entire car price you have to pay first, and then you can drive the car. It is not like before paying the entire amount you can drive. No, first you have to pay that amount, then you can take that car, and then you can start driving. So that means huge upfront cost has been involved. Second thing is, point number two is huge maintenance activities involved. Like purchasing the car is not only the story. You have to bring that car, you need to purchase a parking, you have to go through that basically all the maintenance and also all those things you have to do, right? So huge maintenance activities involved. This is exactly the example of your on-premise data warehouses. In case of on-premise data warehouses also, we do the same thing. We purchase the software, we purchase the hardware, we bring the system, there we install our servers, right? We prepare one server room, there the servers will be connected through the network. All those things we do, we need to do the setup. Advantage is we are the owner of this system, that is first thing. But disadvantage is we need to install all those things. We need a separate team to maintenance or to maintain those servers and all. So those are all the things are involved here, right? So first of all, huge cost you have to pay, because before utilizing itself, you have to bring the storage, you have to bring the processing, you have to bring the server, each and everything you have to do. You have to do the entire setup cost you have to pay. And second thing, what you have to do, you have to hire a team which will be continuously monitoring and maintaining that entire servers. So this is what your on-premise. Now let's say I want to go from point A to B, but I will not go by my own car. What I will do, I will hire a cab service. So we have a lot of cab services in India like Ola, Uber, right? So for an example, let's say I booked a cab from my app. I book that cab. The cab will come to my home. I'll get into it. I'll go to my destination, and whatever kilometers I traveled, I will pay for it. So here, what is the benefit? Benefit is no upfront cost. No upfront cost involved. So that means you don't have any upfront cost involved here, right? So you are not paying the entire car prices. You are not paying the entire amount here. So here, no upfront cost is involved, right? Second thing, no maintenance activity is involved. Do you have any maintenance activity? No. We are not maintaining the car. We are not bothered about to maintain the car. We are not bothered about to all those things, right? So what is needed only? I will book the car. The car will come. I'll get into it. I'll go to the destiny, and whatever kilometers I travel, I will pay. The third important thing is pay what you use. So this is exactly your Snowflake. What does it mean? Whenever we created the account, Snowflake account deployed on AWS or Azure or GCP, then storage and computing services will be taking from this cloud. What does it mean? Let's say I have written here one insert statement that insert into, let's say, self stable values. I inserted some value here. Whenever I inserted any value into a table, so the data goes to the storage. Am I right? Whenever we insert the data into any table, the data goes to a storage. Now we assume that because we are working in the Snowflake, so Snowflake is having some storage capacity and there the data is getting stored. But important and interesting thing is Snowflake does not have any storage capacity. Try to relate with my example. I given you an example of Ola Uber. Does Ola have their own driver? No. Does Ola have their own car? No. What they are doing? They created one platform. On that platform, they are bringing the car owner and the customer into a single place. Car owners are coming with their car, they are driving the car, customers are using their services through that Ola Uber's app. So for customer, what is the basically advantage is they don't need to go here and there to find out the car. They just open an app, they will get everything there, and they will get the services from there. Exactly same thing here also. Snowflake is having a platform internally. Whatever data you are storing inside the Snowflake, that goes to the cloud itself, where basically your Snowflake is deployed. That means if you are running any insert statement, the data will insert into the AWS if your account is deployed on the AWS. If your account is deployed on Azure, then the Snowflake, whatever data you are inserting, that will go to the Azure storage. If your account is deployed on the GCP, whatever internally, whatever data you have inserted, that goes to the GCP. So that means Snowflake does not have any own storage capacity. Wherever you have deployed your account, Snowflake will take the service, the storage services from that cloud, and that is the reason it called as a SaaS product, or nothing but it's a software as a service product. Okay, not only the storage, computing also. Computing is nothing but it's a processing unit. So whenever you are basically, let's say for an example, in your mobile, in your desktop, in your laptop, everywhere two item or two component is there. One is processing component, another one is storage component. What does mean by processing component? Processing component is nothing but like, and it's a kind of, basically you can think it as a like processor. For an example, if your mobile has only storage but no processors, can you store your data? No. Can you retrieve your data? No. So without processors, you cannot store, you cannot retrieve your data from your basically smartphone or laptop or desktop, wherever. So here also, in case of Snowflake also, there are two type of component is there. One is storage component, one is processing component. So for storage component, that means this is the hard disk, that is the actual storage, and computing means that is the processors. So these two services basically Snowflake takes from the cloud. Okay, and that is the reason Snowflake does not have any storage capacity. Snowflake does not have any computing capacity. Whenever we deployed the Snowflake account on the AWS, it will be taking these services from the AWS. Whenever we deployed the account on the Azure, it will be taking these services from the Azure. And whenever we deployed on the GCP, so it will be taking these services from the GCP. Now your question can come, okay, then why we are not directly opening an AWS account or Azure account or GCP account and using their system directly? Because Snowflake internally doing the same thing. The answer is, if you do that, then there will be a complexity. That means, what is the complexity? You will be using separately a storage services from AWS. You will be using a separate storage, separate computing services from AWS. So you have to do all the things by your own. But here you don't need to do anything. Here internally, where the data goes, where it is storing, you don't need to worry about. You just writing the insert statement, the data, you are thinking the data is going into the Snowflake, but internally Snowflake stores the data to the cloud. So entire complexity will be overwritten by Snowflake. Snowflake is giving you a complete environment where you can concentrate only on your data level. Your server related activity, your server related maintenance, you are not responsible to handle. Snowflake, basically, if the account is created on the AWS, Azure, or GCP, wherever it is, their cloud team will be maintaining all those things, but you don't need to worry about your server related activities. Along with that, a lot of things here made it automated, like partition creation, materialized view maintenance. All those things are made here automated also. Those we will discuss later. But as of now, just understand, here you don't need to worry about any server related activities and all, because your cloud team will be maintaining those servers and all. Snowflake is providing you completely basically a simple environment where you can just go and write your SQL statement to your work get done. You don't need to worry about the internal complexity of it. Okay, so this is what the Snowflake, this is how internally Snowflake works. Clear? Any question till this point? Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask. So so this is how basically Snowflake works. Now for an example, let's say we understood, okay, how basically Snowflake works. We understood what is Snowflake. We understood. Now we will be discussing some of the key features in the sense, but how basically Snowflake works for the basically what are all the key features are there which making the Snowflake unique in the market. So first of all, point one is basically it's the cloud data warehouse. As I told you, it's a cloud data warehouse. Okay, and also we can call it as a SaaS product, software as a service. Point number two, no maintenance needed, right? No maintenance needed. No maintenance, or we can say almost zero maintenance. Almost zero maintenance. Almost we are saying because some of the part that we need to handle. That's the reason I say almost. Point number three, no software, no hardware installation needed. No software, no hardware is needed here. Okay. Point number four, pay what you use model. Pay what you use model. Okay. Pay what you use model means if I use 1 GB storage, I will pay only for 1 GB storage. I don't need to purchase the terabyte storage before utilizing it. Like your on-premise, you have to purchase your terabytes of storage before utilizing it. But here you don't need to do that. Here, first we will be using how much I used, I will pay end of the month. If I used 1 GB, I will pay 1 GB storage. If I use 10 GB, I will pay for 10 GB storage. Whatever I will use, I will pay for it. Not more than that, not less than that. Simple. Okay. So that's the reason pay what you use model. Point number five, unlimited storage. As it is taking the cloud services, so that's the reason here unlimited storage capacity involved. You don't need to worry about storage. Terabytes, zettabytes, petabytes, whatever you want, you can use it. So you don't need to worry about your storage. Point number six, huge performance benefit. Huge performance benefit. It is providing you very important features of Snowflake is a huge performance improvement. it has improved your performance a lot. If any query in on-premise or traditional data warehouses, it's running for 10 hours, it can be completed in Snowflake within 10 minutes. This type of performance improvement has been provided. Lot of features are there which is improving your performance. Multi-cluster virtual warehouse, each and everything I'll discuss in my class. Multi-cluster virtual warehouses, okay, cache, okay, cluster key reclustering, okay, materialized views, okay, micro partitions, okay, columnar hybrid model storage. So these are all the some important features or important points which actually improves your performance a lot. Along with that, we have a search engine optimizations. Okay, so these are all the basically or search optimization services. These are all the basically your performance improvement options are there. We will be discussing each and everything with practical. So then we will be understanding how it works actually. Point number 7, semi-structured data handling. So in Snowflake, it handles structured and semi-structured data. Simply, semi-structured data will be able to load into the Snowflake account, and simply you can understand like here total 6 formatted files can be loaded here. CSV, JSON format, okay, Parquet format, Avro format, ORC, XML. These are all the total 6 formatted file. CSV extension, JSON extension, Parquet extension. These are all the total 6 formatted file you can load. In between CSV is the structure, remaining are semi-structured data. So here semi-structured data handling is very easy. Whenever I will show you how to load the semi-structured data in Snowflake and how to break them into a row column format, you will be able to understand there are a couple of functions. By using those functions, you will be able to easily break the semi-structured data into a structured way. Okay. Point number 8, data protection. Data protection in the sense, like in Snowflake, we have a concept called time travel. So so people might have heard about this time travel, because whoever knows about Snowflake, they first they know some words like this as time travel, zero copy clone. These are all the unique features that is Snowflake is providing. What does it mean by time travel? For an example, let's say you are working in a production environment. Okay, we know we are working in a production environment. Somehow you was working, and somehow what happened, you deleted all the records from the table. Somehow you retain a delete from the table name, or you retain the truncate table name. Okay, you deleted all the record from the table, or maybe you truncated all the record from the table. Okay, now we have option to get the data back by using these time travel features. Okay, so let's say at 8 o'clock you have executed one update statement or delete statement, and that is goes wrong. A lot of statement has been deleted, and those you don't want to delete, and even you don't have the backup of the table. So if you have the backup of the table, you can go back and you can take that backup and you can restore, but you don't have the backup. Now what is the option? Option is time travel. Before updating any data in Snowflake takes the existing data backup automatically as a time travel data. Okay, not for the entire life. There is the expiry timeline also of those data, but those I will discuss later. As of now, it will be difficult for you to understand. So time travel, they will those. Let's say I updated some 20 records from the table. Before updation, whatever the old record was there, those record will be stored into your storage separately as a time travel data. Whenever I want, I can get it back. So this time travel is the features by which, if you have done any mistake, mistakenly you drop the database, mistakenly you drop the table, deleted all the records, you updated all the records, now you want to get back the older version of the table, older version of the database, older version of the schema, you can do that by using the time travel. By using time travel, you can go to history and you can get the old version of the object back to life. That is what the time travel. That means Snowflake is protecting your data automatically. Point number 9, zero copy clone. Zero copy clone. So zero copy clone is the features by which we can create a database backup, schema backup, table backup without incurring any additional storage cost. What does it mean? Let's say you have a 1 terabyte of table. Now you created the backup of the table. You created a backup of the table. Now definitely whatever the backup table will create that will also incur the same storage cost. But if you create the backup by using these features, it will not take any extra storage. Okay, so that is what we call zero copy clone. Zero copy clone is the features by which we can create the clone copy, or you can say you can create the backup copy of the existing object without incurring any additional cost. Within a fraction of second, you can take the entire database backup. If your database size can be 10 terabytes, 20 terabytes, still without taking a single extra storage or without taking much time, you can simply create the copy of the entire database. This is what we call zero copy clone. Internal mechanism, I'll tell you in the respective classes. Okay. These are all the important features. Point number 10, partition, or we can call it as a micro partition. So if anybody has worked in a database, now database technologies, you know that partition basically we create on the table, right? We create the partition on the table. If I need to create a partition on the table, I create the partition to make our query processing faster. That is the reason we create the partition on the table. But this partition creation was not automated. You have to create it. If you want this, if you understand, okay, this table needs partition, you have to create the partition on the table. Then only it will be helping you to improve the query performance. Otherwise, it will not, like partition will be created automatically in the table. But in Snowflake, you don't need to mention anything. Each and every table will have partition. Each and every data will go to a partition. One table, either it is having a single record, or it is having millions record, or it is having billions record. Each and every record will go to a micro partition. Or simply you can say each and every record will go to a partition. Without partition, you cannot store any record in Snowflake. And the most interesting thing is you don't need to create the partition. It will be created automatically by Snowflake. Okay. So we'll discuss how the entire thing works, how the partition will be working, all those things we will be discussing. So these are all the some unique features. Along with that, we will be understanding about the architecture of Snowflake. You can see there are 3-layer architecture works with Snowflake. One is cloud service layer. This is the brain of the architecture. Simply by using the cloud layer, basically we as a human being, we have our brain, like whatever control happens or whatever instruction comes, that comes from the brain. Like we are walking, we are sleeping, we are eating, so each and everything basically the instruction we get from the brain. If our brain is not working, our entire body will not work. So exactly that thing here also. The cloud service layer is the total controller. So it is the brain of the architecture. Okay. Now cloud service layer controls the entire architecture. Okay. Now there is the two more layer is there. One is query processing layer. One is database layer. Query processing layer is nothing but this is the processors. As I told you, there are two services that Snowflake takes from the cloud. One is storage services, another one is computing services. So this is what your computing services. This is your query processing layer. Here, all the data related activity will be processed. You are inserting, you are updating, you are selecting, you are deleting, you are copying, you are merging. So whatever data related things you are doing, that will be happen through this query processing layer. Okay, whatever data related things will happen. For an example, this query processing layer will have one or multiple virtual warehouse. Now, these virtual warehouses are nothing but they are the collection of servers. Simply, they are the collection of servers. What it actually does and all, those we will discuss later. As of now, just understand this is the virtual warehouse, and these virtual warehouses are nothing but the collection of servers. And by using these virtual warehouses, process our queries. Okay, by using these virtual warehouses, we process our queries. So this is the query processing layer. And third layer is the database storage layer. This is the actual storage. Here, actual data gets stored. So this is the cloud. This is the brain. This is the brain of the architecture. This is the cloud service layer. Here, all the optimizer, metadata, security, authentication, access control, all will be handled by this cloud layer. Now, query processing layer, nothing but this is the layer where actually your data being processed. You are writing any query, you are writing any insert statement, update statement, those will be processed by this query processing layer. And third layer is the database storage layer where our physical data gets stored. Whenever we execute the query, how this process through these three layers, that I will discuss in the micro partition class. I'll show you properly how basically it happens, so you'll be able to understand. As of now, just understand this is the three layer of architecture works here. Okay. Now we will be discussing how to open a free trial account with Snowflake. So simply you have to go to the Google, you have to write Snowflake trial. You will be getting this page. Simply you have to click on this page. So you will be reaching to a page where you can provide your details. So you will be getting 30 days free trial account, which will be worth rupees 400 USD. So for an example, let's say I'm providing my name here. So company email address. So I have an email. So let me copy this email address and let's paste here. Let's say not applicable. This one you can provide your company's name. Roles, anything you can mention, whatever you want, you can mention here. I'm mentioning student. Okay, and then country name. Then you can go to the continue. Once you continue, you will get these options available. So you have to choose the edition. I will always prefer to choosing by enterprise or business critical, because standard edition is not having all the features available. So whenever I will show you this time travel, multi-cluster warehouse, materialized view sessions in my class, you won't be able to practice if you choose the standard edition. I will always prefer choosing enterprise, or you can choose the business critical edition as well. Okay, so whatever you want, you can choose. For an example, I'm choosing the enterprise edition. And after that, what you can do is basically you have to choose the cloud. Which cloud you want to choose? Anyone you can choose. So either AWS or Azure or GCP, anyone you can choose. For practice purpose, I will ask you to choose AWS, because there is a features called Snowpipe. There is a restrictions if you create the Azure and GCP account. Right now you will not be able to understand. So AWS gives us the extra flexibility. So that's the reason I will ask you to choose the AWS. Otherwise, anything you can do. Internal code will not basically there will no difference between the code which I write in the Azure account or which I write in the AWS account. Whatever SQL script I will write here and whatever SQL script I will write here, that will be 100% same. But internally, which cloud you are using for storage and processing, that defines by this selection. Either you are choosing this one or this two or this one. Anything you choose, but for practice purpose, I will ask you to choose the AWS. Okay, now we'll come down and we can choose the basically your what I can say, like your which region you want to deploy your server. So for an example, I'm choosing by Europe region, and I'm going to the get started. Okay, after that they will ask you a couple of questions, so you can answer those questions or you can simply skip them, and simply you can go. You can see an email has been sent to your email address, so let's go to that email address. Let's, so you can see activate your Snowflake account, like that. On email you will be getting, here you will be having a click to activate option. You have to just click on the click to activate option. Let me close this account. So now they are asking for user ID password, so you can give here according to your requirement, like whatever user ID. I generally provide Snowflake ADM is my user ID, and password anything you can mention. Okay, Once you mention the password in both the places, one is password, one is confirm password, then you can go for the get started. You can see you can go for the get started. So you have opened your account, you have created your account. This is your account. Here you can click on the plus sign. You can click on the SQL worksheet. You can open this worksheet. Here already 2 databases will be provided. This database will have lot of schemas. Inside the schema, lot of tables are there. You can utilize those tables for your practice purpose. All the things will be provided by Snowflake. And here you can write your own SQL script and all. Okay, so this is how basically you opened your Snowflake account. Now going forward, this activate your Snowflake account. Whatever email you get here, you will be having that URL also. That URL every day you have to open. Okay, whatever user ID password you have selected, that user ID password you have to provide, and simply you have to log into your Snowflake account. So this is completely browser based application. This is completely, you don't need to, do I install anything? No. I did any setup? Nothing. Just I created one account. This is your Snowflake. Here, this is your warehouse. This is your data warehouse. Here, basically on browser, it will be working. Okay. So this is how basically your Snowflake works. Now, as I told you, there are 1 or 2, 3 questions we will be getting, which basically they ask in the certification. First of all, they can ask about the SaaS. So basically, what type of product it is. Either SaaS, they will be giving another other options also. So you have to choose from here the SaaS product. Snowflake is a software as a service SaaS product. It can ask you what are all the files can be loaded into Snowflake. So there is the total 6 format. Apart from this 6 format, you cannot load any other data into Snowflake. CSV, JSON, Parquet, Avro, Versi, XML. These 6 formatted data you can load into Snowflake. So they can ask you that which are all the basically files formats are supported. From there, you have to choose the correct answer. And most important things is they can ask you what are all the 3 layers of architecture it follows. So you have to answer cloud layer, query processing layer, database storage layer. Okay, so this is the 3 questions people ask in certification, or if you are going for the beginner level interviews, they can ask you this question in interviews as well. So that's all from my side. If you guys have any questions, you can ask. Any doubt, any questions, any queries?
So it is basically only the Snowflake, or you will provide like SnowSQL?
Everything. Snowflake, SnowSQL, data loading from AWS, data loading from Azure, entire setup, like how basically you will be integrating with AWS with Snowflake, how will you integrating Azure with Snowflake. So that also we will be covering. We will be covering DBT integration also, like how to set up the DBT, how we can configure the DBT with Snowflake, how we can transform the data through the DBT. This entire part we will be covering. Snowflake will be covered from the basic to advanced. Basic from the different type of tables, database schema, then virtual warehouse calculation, virtual warehouse utilization, all the things. Whatever a person, a 2 years, 3 years guy works in Snowflake, and how what are all the things they need to work, each and everything I'll cover. Row level security, column level security, data sharing, data replication, dynamic tables, search optimization services, each and everything. These are all advanced topics I'm telling you. Apart from that, normal basic topics also will be covering, like time travel, zero copy clones, secure views, materialized views, external tables, each and everything. Whatever we have in Snowflake, each and everything I'll cover. Okay, and this is the snow site environment. We will be covering the SnowSQL as well.
Okay. Snow, I think there is a Python embedded in the Snowflake, right? SnowPy or something.
NoPy, no. SnowSQL is there. We will be covering the SnowSQL. Python topic will not be covered. Like basically, Python is the separate course, so you can take the separate course on the Python. But here, Python is not included. It's a Snowflake course, entirely Snowflake. Assuming that you guys know about SQL, so I need the prerequisite as a SQL. So if you have the idea on the SQL, so you guys can
We wanna
start.
we wanna kind of move the data from cloud to Snowflake, right? Do we need any scripts to write to move the
Scripts
data?
in the scripts yes, but that is a simple script. Like we need to we will be moving the data from cloud to Snowflake by using the copy statement. So we will be writing like copy statement, so it's a 3 4 lines of script. So whatever script I will be writing, that I will be showing you here itself. And it will be 99% it will be practical or hands-on session. It's not like whatever I'm telling you have to believe it, and you have to no proofs on that. Whatever I will tell, I will give a proper justification on it. Okay, I'll show you. Let's say I'm telling you that materialized view takes less time. Now I'm telling you that, I'll show you that. Not only I will tell you, I'll show you with practical that yes, materialized view this way it takes less time. So that type of scenarios will be covered. That means if I, let's say I told you that by using time travel features, you can get the historical data back to life.
The
Now
real
how?
time in the real time environment,
Right,
they will
right,
be writing some scripts to pull that.
right. Those script I will show you. That is what
Okay.
I'm telling you. So basically, let's say I will, let's say in the, let's say you want to, let's say you have deleted some data from the table. Now by using time travel, you want to fetch that data from the table. Okay, how will you do that? What is the SQL script you will write? That I will show you here. Okay, I'll provide you those script also. Let's say I ask you to create an entire copy of the database. How will you do that copying database? So that I will show you. For an example, let's say if I go here, and you can see. So let's say this is the zero copy DB class that I taken for my morning batch. So you can see this way, whatever script we needed, we will write all the script here. So these are all small, small script. You can see this is the stage creation script. These are all small, small script. So this script I will be writing. This is the way I will be writing the script. This is the way I create the clone copy of the database. So I'll show you. This is the script. This is the way I create the table. So each and everything. So whatever script I will write, so that script I will be showing you. I will provide that script as well. So you don't need, no need to worry about all those things. Each and everything practical based I'll cover. So I will cover so that you guys can work in environment. So that way I'll try to cover.
Amit, you're gonna cover this CI/CD pipeline, like how we are going to create a.
So CI/CD pipeline, in the sense we will be covering stream, we will be covering task, we will be covering dynamic table, and also we will be covering through the DBT. So these are all the things we will be covering for the CI/CD. CI/CD in the sense like you want to do incremental data loading, or you want to maintain the SCD type 2. So those things I will be covering through the stream and task. The same thing I'll show you with the dynamic table also. And transformation I'll show you with the DBT. So DBT is the tool that will take 2 to 3 sessions on DBT. End of the session, end of the Snowflake, I'll show you this. DBT is nothing but like it's a transformation tool. I will get the data into Snowflake. I will get the data into Snowflake. Now from Snowflake, I will use the DBT, and I will load the data to the target table. Now on DBT, we will write the SQL script and we will transform the raw data. Whatever raw data you have loaded here, that I will transform through the DBT, and the transformed and filtered data we will load to the target table. So that entire process of.
No, the CSC. This is good actually. This is really useful. The CI/CD mean like I mean pushing code from outside instead of like executing SQL or whatever the procedure, whatever directly in the environment, pushing it from the outside, like how we how we check in into Git code and then from Git to push it to an environment like that. So instead of
Okay, right, right.
touching direct environment.
That also I will show you through the DBT, because that whatever you are saying now, that git
Mm,
push up, git push on. So that
mm,
also will be done by the DBT itself.
okay.
Okay, yeah. Basically, let's say you have a two environment. One is development environment, one is production environment.
Yeah.
Now, from development environment, you want to take the same deployment in the production. So
Yeah.
that you can do through the DBT.
Okay.
Okay, because Snowflake does not have that inbuilt features of Snowflake included. So that is not provided by Snowflake. Like,
Yeah, it
let's
has
say,
to be customized, out
right,
of the box.
right. So Snowflake does not have that features available with it, that you don't have that option to push and pull to the Git and all. So that can be done through the DBT also. I'll show you that through the DBT.
And then here we can execute Python script also, right? Where you're showing SQL. That's what the
We
new
can
was asking.
execute Python script also, but I'm not expert in Python. So basically, if you know Python, internally you can call the SQL script with the Python and you can work on the Python. So that also you can do. But simple thing, like internally, if you are writing the Python also, there also you have to call the SQL script only.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
without
Just to
SQL,
manipulate SQL
yes,
only,
yes.
just rewrite Python.
Exactly. So if you know Python, you can do with the Python also, but that's not mandatory. And I'm not expert on Python. So that's the reason. Like, I'm not in that place that I can explain something to my students. So that's the reason.
No. Just wanted to understand. I saw the Python. What is the purpose of it? I just
Right,
want.
right. So Python is simple things, the same thing. Like, so directly writing the copy. Let's say I want to load a data from the file to table. So copy statement will be utilized. Now that directly we are writing the SQL copy statement. Instead of that, you can write a Python script, and there you can call the copy statement. That is the only difference.
Just an option. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So, so that's all for today's session. So if you guys have any extra or questions or anything to be understand, so you can reach me in WhatsApp, and probably I'll be starting the class from the Wednesday. Okay, not tomorrow. So I'll start from the class from the Wednesday. The class timing will be from 8:30 a.m. IST. Okay, to 9:30 a.m. So it's a 1 hour class. So every day, Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no class. Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 9:30 class will be happening. And I'll start from the Wednesday. Okay. I'll
Okay.
update, yeah, in the WhatsApp.
Hi, Amir.
Yeah, hi, tell me.
Yeah, currently, how is the market for Snowflake?
Market is good, Srinivas. Basically, like, see, if you ask me, market is good as of now. Like in my LinkedIn, people are reaching for the lot of options like they have in the India, in the US. If anybody is in the US, so there also market is good. But
Maruti was asking that question.
sorry.
Maruti or someone was asking that question. He said
Oh,
free.
okay. Okay, okay. I thought you were asking.
No
Anyway,
worries.
no problem, no problem. Yeah. So, like the market is good. So, as per my understanding, the market is good. Requirement is there. A lot of requirements are there in Snowflake, because basically the Snowflake is right now it's going with the migration. Maximum projects you will be getting as a migration project in the sense like. Basically, let's say your database or data warehouses are running on the SQL server, they will be migrating from the SQL server to Snowflake. So because Snowflake is the it came in the market from last 5 years, but still it's a basically it's a market is good. Like maximum projects there in my projects also, like in our clients, I came here in 2022. Basically in my organization, a lot of modules was there. One by one, they all the modules they are shifting to Snowflake, and that's the reason they are hiring people. Okay, so but like if you do little hard work, getting job will not be a difficult. Okay, or switching job will not be a difficult, and it's a new technology. So there is no latest version available in the data warehousing sector right now. So that's the reason you
Uh,
can expect a good opportunity on this. Yeah.
say if we want to move the data from Oracle to Snowflake,
Mhm.
so we need some transformations, right? What is the, I mean, in general, in the real time, what they use? Is it something like a third-party tool that brings the data from?
They use, yes, they can use some third party tool there. They can select the source and target source as a let's say Oracle target as a Snowflake. Like that way, they can use the third-party tool to load the data. That is one option. Second option, they can create the files based on the data in the Oracle, and they can move those files to the external stage. From there, we can load the data from the file to Snowflake through our Snowflake own data loading features. Okay, so this way they can do both the way it happens. So I can't say like, okay, this is only using in the basically real time. Mostly we use the data loading features. I'll show
Yeah.
you.
Why I'm asking is, I mean, apart from Snowflake, we need some technology, right? Technology to bring the data from the external sources, right?
No,
That's
you don't need to learn those technologies, because this is your source system's responsibility to provide you the data. What does it mean? Let's say you are working in your banking sector, or you're working in your any sector. Now you have a lot of upstreams applications, or you have some upstreams organization. They sends you the data. Now it's their responsibility to send the data to your environment. Either they are sending directly, so you will be getting your data directly to your raw stage database. If they are not sending the data directly, they are generating the files, they are loading the files to your external stage. From there, you are writing your code to read the data and load into the table. This entire process I will show you. So you will be reading the data and you will be loading into your table. So that way you can do. So what their source systems are doing, and if you are thinking that you have to work with the source system to integrate the things, that is not the case. So this thing will be integrating the entire part is responsible, or sending data is the responsible of the source providers, not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to manage your system. Otherwise, if you have any extra tool, like you can see like click replicate, one tool is there, fiber turn. So I think these are all the some of the tools they used to load your data from the source to target. By using those tools also, people can load the data.
Informatica Cloud, Fivetran, all these tools.
They can, these are all the ETL tools. So like where you have to select the source as a source database, you have to select the target as a Snowflake, you have to dump your data. So that way you can do. Otherwise, you can create your files from based on the Oracle. Like I worked in my first Snowflake project like this way. We moved our Oracle project to our Snowflake data warehouse. So how do we did? We was working in the policy. We was working in the insurance domain. So there was different type of data was there, like policy, claim, coverages, users, buyers, agents. These are all the data was there. Now there was a criteria that has been provided by client. They was trying to get only those data moved to Snowflake who are all basically having the active policies for last 5 years. So that those data they want to find out. Okay, so from the Oracle database, we didn't pull all the data. What I did, we written the SQL script. We pulled out the data in format of CSV, and then we loaded the data to the in specific location. And from there, by using Snowflake script, we was loading the data. We was dumping the data to Snowflake. After that, in Snowflake, we written some procedure, or maybe on that time, mostly DBT was not being used. So now DBT came into the market. So we was writing the Snowflake code, and we was moving the data. We was transforming the data to the different fact dimensions. Like that way, we worked in my first project. So that is the way we can do that.
DBT is the Snowflake tool, or it's an outside tool?
DBT is a third-party tool actually. DBT, because what happens, like if you go to the SQL server, if anybody worked in SQL server, there is a ETL process is there, right? In that ETL process, generally what happens, like it find out the from different table, it transform the data and loads to different fact dimensions table. Like that, you can see the internal structure, in flow type of structures you can see. So that part was missing in Snowflake. Now Snowflake has introduced one concept called dynamic table, but still DBT is still it's being used. So maybe in future Snowflake will be incorporating that features also, including but as of now it is not there. So that's the reason people use the DBT tool. Okay, fine. So that's how basically the session will go on, and that's how basically it will be continuing. So anyways, we'll start from the Wednesday, and we'll learn a lot of things here, and definitely it will help you to grow your career, as I believe, if you can do the hard work. Okay, fine. So that's all for today's sessions. Any question, any doubt? Okay.
Thank
So,
you, Amit.
thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.